We had been in the previous class session, we had been talking about as ego falls away, the psychic centers and elements dominate the consciousness. Whenever the ego in us falls down, the psychic centers and elements will dominate the consciousness. That means the consciousness will prevail. That's all. The domination here is even though it is predominant, but a domination is necessary because predomination is the, but the identity of domination or the nature of domination or the purpose of domination had been different because of the ego. So ego was dominating the consciousness. When ego falls down, consciousness dominates the ego. When the consciousness dominates the ego is dissolved into the consciousness. There is no ego, or the ego transforms its nature of egoistic activities into consciousness. It's a very intricate subject, and it is widely discussed by the intelligent, great noblemen. The ego and the consciousness both are prevalent, and it has been, Upanishad has further many times explained that the ahamkara, when the sharira is born, a kind of ownership is allotted. This ownership, the feeling of the ownership, the feeling of ownership is necessary in order to execute his karmas as of his own. Then he will say, it is my karma. Only for that purpose, when the emotions, the indriyas, the panchakoshas, the panchapranas, mana, vichara, vikara, and the sancheta, agami, and prarabdha karmas, when has been prescribed and has been identified, classified rather, it's not, they are not different, classified as them only for the purpose of this ahankara or the ego to analyze it and associate itself with that and perform so that the Atma Sakshatkara is prevalent in a Jivatma. Is the purpose why this ego ahankara has been provided. Even though the ego is a part of consciousness, ahankara is a part of consciousness. But domination should not be of the ego, of the consciousness. But consciousness should have the domination of the ego. When ego dominates the consciousness, Ravan said, I am the greatest, there is nobody other than me who is the greatest Bhakta of Bhagavan Shiva. Even though Ravana has been given that ego in order to make him stubborn, rigid for becoming a great jnani, great tapasvi, he will venture into all the efforts that he can make in order to become the first one in the world. That ego was provided to him because of that. But having achieved the necessary fields of activities of consciousness through this ego, the ego started dominating his consciousness. Primarily, the consciousness was prevalent and it was dominating the ego. The identification or classification of the ego, then one may ask why when one becomes absolutely jnani and consciousness, how can the ego dominate? Dhyanam is nirupadhika, non-interferent. What is Dhyanam? Non-interferent. It's only, what is Surya Prakasham? Prakasham is nirupadhika, non-interferent. If you want to interfere with that, you interfere with it. If someone else wants to interfere with it, let them interfere with it. Nirupadhika. Why? Because the consciousness is not ruled by the ego. Suppose we personify consciousness individually. That personified consciousness is not ruled by the ego. Whereas even though the ego has got the consciousness, the ego is the one which is prevalent in that and rules. So when the consciousness, if you find it, nirupadhika, it is non-interferent. That means it doesn't, who interferes? What is called an interference? Then you have to go into details. That's why I said it's a subject which is very, very large, not small. What is interference? Interference is that to obstruct the flow or the function of a particular thing without any purpose, without any cause, without any purpose, without any result. That's also there. Without any cause, without any purpose, without any result is what is called interference. To interfere into consciousness is without any purpose. Why one should interfere with the consciousness? Without any purpose. It is only to prove the ego is greater than the consciousness is why one is interfering. The cause of interference is itself is an ego. Why the interference? The thought of interference come? It's ego. Simple, okay. Let me not come down. Let me come down. You are speaking. Before you complete your sentence or your ideas or your particular thing, I jump into the conversation and take over the conversation as if it is mine and retort or distort its meaning itself and remove it and bringing it to it. Many people don't allow others to speak. They will interfere. An egoistic conclusion. An ego is a ruling that. This is interference. What is called interference? Interference is that why one should interfere? Let somebody speak. Now I am just telling you in our common language. Let somebody speak. It may be right, it may be bad, it may be good, it may be bad, it may be nonsense, it may be sense. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. They have to speak. It is somebody who is speaking according to his idea and his opinion. Whether it is sense or nonsense, it is none of your business to analyze it. Or you analyze it and keep quiet. You have a time. So let him complete whatever nonsense or sense or good or right or bad or anything that is complete. Let him complete that. Once that is done, then you can take over. There is no problem. But before one is completing it, identifying, understanding interference is that he thinks that what he is talking is not right according to his thinking, or he interferes in his thought that he should think as this is why I am interfering and prompting what he is talking about, what he is supposed to talk about. Before he finishes, if I am interfering, I am saying that no, you should tell this what I am saying. Is that what is called interference? Is it not? That means your thought, I am interfering with your thoughts. The thoughts you are having should not be that. No, is it right? Thought may be bad or good or right or wrong, whatever it is, but your interference has no purpose. What is the purpose? By that, will his thought change? No. Without any purpose, without any reason. Is there any reason for interfering in somebody's thought? Let him talk. Let there be a result out of it. Let there be a conclusion out of it. Let there be a disaster out of it. Can you stop it? You cannot stop it. So there is no purpose, there is no cause, there is no purpose, and no result. Any amount of interference you induct into something else will not create any result as you thought. No. Will it create any result? The river is flowing. You obstruct the flow. Why do you want to obstruct the flow? To take out some water from there and pour it into under the tree. You stop the river. You are obstructing the flow. The cause is what? This is the cause. What is the cause? The cause is egoistic. For any interference, the cause is egoistic. So therefore, the interference to the consciousness is ego, is because of ego. Since it has got ego is interfering the consciousness, even though the ego is a part of the consciousness, ego is interfering the consciousness. No. You, on the basis of certain science, you have decided and formulated a particular subject and idea is being projected by you, and you distort it. How is it happening? One is that consciousness which is creating all that, one that is distracting with all the ego out of that. I am not exact, it's a human habit. One out of lot of desire, lot of craving, lot of attraction, lot of attachment by the most expensive crockeries and cutleries, most expensive things to keep on, all that, to the showcases. I'm just telling you small things to compare with the interference. With great, you went to Italy, so you bought one monkey with the Italian face. Then I went to somewhere else and I bought something else with that. Memento and all that we bought. We brought all those things and kept and all that with great care and all that. The day you get angry, the first thing in the kitchen, if it is the kitchen and you get angry, you take that, you've seen that movies and all that, they throw in the houses also. They throw the best crockeries that you bought, which was great appreciation. And the great Italian face is also gone when they to take out and throw it and break it. Interference. Once that consciousness has created something, even though the anger that is brought for which he has done the destruction is also the part of consciousness, but the domination of the ego has taken place, anger has taken place, so he did not know what is the importance with which I have bought this. Is forgotten at that point of time, and without any reason, without any purpose, without any result, he breaks all that. No, you understood what I'm saying? Is what is called interference. So why did I say that? Domination, predominant, and domination of consciousness. When in Sthita Prajna, domination of absolute consciousness prevails without any problem. The ego will function based on the consciousness. Ego has to be there as far as the individuals are concerned. Human beings who are able to think, analyze and things like that, they should have certain kind of, this ego, this ahankara is particularly meant for only for execution of karmas, and also to identify. This ahankara is to identify this aham. This aham is a bifurcation of the totality of the Brahman, but it is meant for the time being, it's meant for execution of certain karmas prevalent. Is the identification, is why he said about the domination of the consciousness. There, in the psychic centers and the elements, Panchabhutas, the elements and the psychic centers will be dominated by consciousness. In our psychic centers and the chakras, psychic centers, and the elements have to be dominated by consciousness. Then the ego is lost. Then the purpose of function will become totally different. The purpose of function and the color of function, the integrity of function, the changes in the function or the appearance of the function will be totally different. With the same person, the same consciousness, but predominant with the ego, will function in a particular manner. But when the ego is not there, when he is conscious of it, consciousness, he functions totally different. The king, a very rude or a very arrogant king, let us say, he behaves differently when he is a king and sitting on the throne and disturbs everyone's peace and all that. But the same king, when he goes to pray in the morning to the temple, he bows down and does Ashtanga Pranam in front of Bhagavan, asking him to please protect me. Trahimam, Trahimam. Once ego is predominant there, here the consciousness is dominating the ego. Yes. When we all go to that temple also the same thing happens. This is how our psychic centers should be made function. Why we are learning all these things? We are learning all these things is only because in order to bring the strength into us to suppress the ego consciously. Suppress the ego consciously so that the consciousness can dominate the psychic centers. Not suppression of ego, suppression of ego consciously. Suppression of ego with any other thing, with any other method, if you do, it will explode and it can multiply itself, can be disastrous at one point of time. So the suppression, what I mean is that the suppression through the consciousness, that means knowingly, understandingly dissolve the ego into consciousness. When it dissolves into the ego as consciousness, the swartha bhava the selfness or selflessness will be appearing. Swartha bhava will go away, and absolutely consciousness prevails. When consciousness prevails, there will be absolute peace, not only for mind, peace for the Atma, peace for the mind, peace for the Sharira. The distortion of the Sharira, disturbances of the Sharira, diseases of Sharira is also because of the psychic centers are dominated by the egoistic activities and results. The egoistic activity, certain kind of thoughts prevalent, certain kind of thoughts, when it dominates the psychic centers, they are inclined to affect the physical body around them. Is how we call them as psychosomatic orders and disorders. The psychosomatic, everything is psychosomatic. It ultimately get into repairable and irreparable damages are created to even the externalities. You think of yourself now, when you think something bad, you are angry. When you are angry, to you, the whole environment seems to be very unpleasant. You may be in heaven, you may be in the best place, but you will say that I am suffocating here. Is it not? As normal people use these words. I am suffocating here, I want to get out of it. Somebody says, why? It's so wonderful, it's beautiful. Why not? No, doesn't. Why? Because some psychic centers, which is not, whatever it is, it doesn't relate you. So you are suffocating. Same way. What happens is that when the psychic centers are prevalent and predominant with the egoistic activities on the consciousness, your consciousness, we also say in normal languages, buddhi brushed ho gaya. Small thing. How can buddhi become brushed? Have you ever thought of it? Buddhi cannot be brushed. It's not possible. You cannot malign the buddhi. You cannot. That means the buddhi being utilized or dominated by the ego. When the buddhi dominated by the ego, the activities normally should have been done by the buddhi. It's opposite to that. When function is opposite to that, so we say uska buddhi brushed ho gaya. Buddhi brushed nahi hua. The application of the buddhi brushed ho gaya because of the egoistic activities predominant in the consciousness. We are learning Upanishads and Vedas and Shastras and doing meditation and having satsang only for the purpose of making our consciousness prevalent in all the time in our psychic centers. And all the kriyas and the karmas and kartavyas and the karmas have to be executed through this consciousness, where the suppression of ego consciously having done in the psychic centers. So none of the psychic centers will activate or act egoistically. Activate or act egoistically. There will be prevalence of the consciousness will be there in all the psychic centers. When the prevalence of consciousness is there in all the psychic centers, all the time the thoughts have to pass through the consciousness. Any thought arising in the mind will have to pass through filtered through the consciousness only will come out. Therefore, there can never be any fault. What's fault? That which is against the karma, that is necessary for the self. So sharirik, that means physical illness also is psychosomatic disorders. Because of psychic command, it can prevail, it can do that. When the river is blocked it's from the normal function, it will break the banks and destroy whatever is situated in the bank. Yes. When it is allowed to flow properly, the environment also will grow according to that. The same thing happens to us. Whether it is when the consciousness is prevalent with the ego, whether the thoughts or the body or the sharira, everything will go aligned. There are so many examples. That is how one becomes absolutely strong. We call it as strong. Strength is not in the physical strength or the material strength, what we are talking about. Strength is has to be in that consciousness at all time, sthita prajna in the psychic centers. One could even win over the death by this Dhyanam prevalent in psychic centers. You can postpone the death. Anything can take place, anything can happen. What is death? Death to the sharira. And when sharira is maintained by the psychic centers, when the sharira is diseased by the psychic centers, when sharira can be rectified by the psychic centers by prevalent of consciousness, the life of the sharira also can be extended by the psychic centers. It's prevalent in that. Even death can be postponed. Death can be eliminated. Death can be postponed. What is death? When there is no death to the consciousness, that whatever is connected to the consciousness will have no death. When there is no death for the consciousness, whatever is connected with the consciousness will never have death. How can Sharira die if I don't want to die? You understood what I am saying? Satyavan and Savitri's story tells about the consciousness prevalent in Savitri. Even though Satyavan, Savitri was Raja's daughter who was born by praying to Devi Savitri by her father, the king, who did not have a child. He wanted to have the most efficient, intelligent child for him. Savitri was a perfect child with all the perfections, whatever perfections are necessary, it's all there in Savitri. You want to listen to a little story? Raja, at the time when she has matured enough of age, have come to the age of getting married, Raja sent words to all over. She is expert in everything. There is no kala that she doesn't know. She is beautiful and she is everything. She has got everything. Fitting husband has to be looked for. So he put out the qualifications that is necessary for his daughter, because his daughter has so and so qualities. Now, she has come out of the Yajna Kunda, and somebody like this, a human being in the world, how can he get it? Years passed. She was growing older. So Raja ultimately said, now I cannot find out a suitable groom for you. You better go and find out. She was sent out of the house. She goes round all over the world. Ultimately lands up in a big forest where there were Rishis, Tapasvis and Jnanis who were born there. There she came across a couple who were blind. Their son, who is Satyavan. His name is, I forgot his name. His original name is, sorry, the name I had in mind, but I forgot. His original name is something else. Satyavan is his qualification, actually, his characteristic, actually. He is a very honest person and he is very good in his behavior. Satyavan. The blind couple were there. They were also Rajas at one point of time. He was Raja. He took a vow and came to do tapasya in the forest. Their son being Satyavan, his name is something else, original name. She means Satyavan, being a very nice person and excellent personality. Very nice person, knowledgeable, and he's very good, everything is good. She liked him, so she wanted to marry him. Goes to the father and says that. Father says, how can it be? He has no qualities of what you have. But she says, no, I can't. I will marry him. And there is no problem because the father was also a Kshatriya at one point of time, so he didn't have any objection. So she got married and they brought the astrologer and found out, and when the astrologer came and saw that Satyavan will live only one more year. He has come to the age of death. One more year only he will live. Savitri being tapasvi, she got all the qualities of, she took care of the parents, blind parents, took care of him. Everything she had been doing for 1 year, and the day has come. Yamadharma comes personally to take him. Normally he doesn't come personally. So he knows there will be obstruction. So he himself has come and told Savitri that it is time. I must take him. She said, how can you? So many arguments takes place between him and Yamadharma. Intelligently. What is that dharma, that which you have to assign for him, that only so much of each? He says it's because of his prarabdha karma and the sancheta karma. Being a Satyavan himself, having fulfilled his karmas early age of itself, so it has been designed according to that he has to die. And there is no excuse for that. Death is something which cannot be detained and it has to take place. My dharma is in order to Yama dharma, the meaning of Yama dharma itself. The one functions as a dharmi through the process of the Yama. Yamani Yama asana. Through the Yama, he is dharmi. He has never deviated any dharma. He said, I will not deviate any dharma. I am the dharma. I am known as dharma. So I cannot, look at the faces and emotions. There's no meaning in my world. In my world only dharma prevails. Then she said that I have been married only for not even 1 year. He has got blind parents. There is no protection for others. She put all sorts of these arguments to him. He said, look, nothing works on that. Ultimately, the time has come. So he said, Angushthamatrena is a word that has been used in the Angushtham. He make his consciousness in the Angushtham. Just like as long as the thumb. Makes him like that. And his rope ties it and he takes it along with him. Satyavan. And he goes. And he is going. When he is going, suddenly he heard conversation from the back. Normally nobody follows Yamadharma. He said, Savitri started talking. She started talking about the Bhati-Vrutyam. Okay, let me follow you. Why you are following me? She said, I want to follow you because you are the embodiment of Dharma. The beauty of this one is an appreciation to Dharmaraj. There is no better satsang than being with the most great dharmi in this world. You are the embodiment of dharma. Having an opportunity to undergo a lot of penances in this life, having come from the Yajna and having undergone so much of experience, I've got all the qualities. Please don't deprive me of having satsang with you, because there is no satsang better than Yamadharma. Lot of meanings have been derived by the great knowledgeable people for this discussion. There is no better satsang than being with you, A. Yamadharma. There is no satsang better than having death of this sharira, is the meaning of that. There is no better satsang than being conscious of not having the sharira is a better satsang. Who is Yamadharma? The one who is taking prana away. That means creating death. The one who is assuming death or having understood the quality of the reality of the death is the true satsang, he says. That means, or further description on that, when a man is conscious that he will die tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 10 days back, after, he will become an excellent person. The knowledge of bringing, that's why smashana vairagyam. This I have told you earlier also about the smashana vairagya. Vairagya automatically comes in that. What is there in this world? After all this, no one has to die like this only. Smashana vairagya, when somebody is being taken to the funeral, taken to the smashana, for everybody who is attending this funeral, everybody will talk also. This is our condition is also same. One day somebody will bring us and put here. That's all. No, everybody becomes conscious about the death. But when he comes back, after having his sumptuous lunch with Vaisam, he forgets about that. Smasha Vairagyam. Right. Next day onwards for him, it is a routine. That's all. Same. Adharma continues. So here, the death, that means to be associated with the Yama Dharma. What is Dharma? Dharma means that to function as an Atma, even though there is the body, the consciousness of the body should not be the functional requirement. The body should not be the functional requirement for execution of karmas. It should be the prevalence of the Atma, or, as I told you, the consciousness in the psychic centers is the best satsanga. That is called Yama Dharma. Dharma in the Yama as Dharma is the best. So Vairagya, what is the meaning? Vairagya has to be created. So physically what happened? Savitri talking to Yama Dharma. This is the best satsang. You being conscious that Yamadharma is in front of you. Now, I am literally translating it. Yamadharma being in front of you, taking the prana, you are following Yamadharma is the best satsang. That means at that point of time, no other thoughts, no other desires, no other materialistic attractions and attachments, nothing is prevalent at that point of time. Is the best satsang. That means Vairagya is created when one is conscious about his death of the sharira. Is the satsanga with the Yamadharma. Have you got it? Got it. Is what Savitri is told Yamadharma. He was very happy. My God, she is really intelligent. Hey Devi, he turns back. Normally he doesn't turn back. Takes it and just goes, that's all. Yamadharma turns back and asks her, hey Devi, you are really great, no doubt about it. And you ask for one vara, I will give you, you go after that. don't follow me. Okay, what is the Varya you want to ask? Make my parents, in-laws, parents, make them see so that the blindness should go away. Tathastu. It's done. So Yamadharma said goodbye, so I'm going. Again after some time she is listening. Footsteps behind. I told you, Devi, why are you following me? Better go. It's a very difficult path what I'm going to have now further. Human beings cannot come there. It's not possible. You cannot come. Come. Then she speaks about the dharma of this Bhartru dharma and Pativrutyam. Discusses about the Pativrutyam. What is the true Pativrutyam? And she talks about the Pativrata. Patihi. Who is a Pati? Where in the consciousness the dependence on something which doesn't have patanam at all is pati. Pati pratya. In your thought, in your mind, your association with the pati. What is pati? Pati is that which doesn't have any patana. That means fall. Patana means falling down, not physical falling down. It's called pati. What does it mean? Do you mean to say that all the patis or the men are like that? No, not at all. Not that. As far as the Bharya is concerned, the pati, what she in her mind thinks or loves, is the one who doesn't have any fault. That's all. What is that object or not, what is he, is not identified. Whatever it may be. Pati is not important as far as the Bharya is concerned here in the system. What is it she discussing? She is discussing about the Pativrutyam. Pativrutyam is that Pativrata. Vrata on the Pati substance or the object. Okay. In the Pati, Pativrutyam. What is that Pati which doesn't have any food? Now, everybody asks Savitri that why are you marrying Satyavan, who grew up in the forest, doesn't have any education. He goes and cuts the trees and the fruits and this one, and he comes and feeds the parents, that's all. He doesn't have any other efficiency. He's a good man, that's all. He's an honest man. He's an honest man because he's not doing any business. When he has to do a business, he has to be a bad man. Maybe that is the reason. I have added that. According to, only for conversational facility, there are certain similes have to be added in conversational practice. So, in her mind, the Pati is an embodiment. That means as far as the dependency of hers, she should remember that. If she thinks that the Pati is weak, her qualification or quality of dependency on the Pati is so bad. Is the Pati bad or her thought bad? So she says, Yamadharma was very surprised to listen to Savitri talking. He said that when I have got the Pati, my dependency on the Pati is something supreme. I look at an idol and say that is Ganesha. It is not because of the qualification of the idol, it is more, it's because of my bhakti and perception towards the Lord, made that respectable. No. In my mind, Ganesha is respectable. That statue of Ganesha is respectable, not because of that metal piece is respectable. You are getting it? I depend on that absoluteness. In my mind, I am much stronger because I cannot be wrong. As I have got all the, as far as Savitri is concerned, she says, I am qualified with all that. And I was not getting a pati. My father has tried his best. Ultimately, I chose. When I chose that what is necessary for me. That what is necessary means I have analyzed and I got all the respects and regards and qualifications that I assign to him. Is my thought, what he sees is a woodcutter or something for you. That's a different thing. But as far as my mind is concerned, Pati who doesn't have any patanam is my perception is called Pati. Not that individual is my Pati. Forget about it. Are you getting it? I am not satisfied even talking so much. I would like to speak much more on that. That means what? She respects herself is what she is telling. She says, how I can be wrong? Because my perception of Pati can never be wrong. He is a woodcutter, okay. He's nothing here, otherwise he doesn't know anything, okay, forget about it. According to others, okay. But as far as my perception is concerned, my perception, I am dependent on him, he as a Pati. Not dependency means, not that dependency what we are thinking about. Dependency is an association with him, that's all, is what I am. Like the consciousness being dominating. The consciousness in my mind is dominating that the selection that I have made is for my betterment. My betterment. I am very sure about it and I can make it. It is not his qualification or his status or his stature or his capability or his XYZ that is important or prevalent upon me. No. That what I thought and for which I have taken him, accepted him in my mind and perceived in my mind is called Pati. Pati, my vrata is to that Pati. Pati. Not to the Satyavan you are seeing or somebody else is seeing. Even her father told that, no. How can you marry such a man? She said, mentally, I have already married to him. Manasa, I have already married to him. This is what she says. What does it mean? She has perceived, accepted that what it is like. It's immaterial what others see about him and things like that. Now, we will not discuss on what basis the selection has to be made. It's not what I am talking about. That's a different story again. How one should select one, there is another Shastra. There are 10 qualities. There are 10, I have got a note on that. What to be seen when you are getting married? What are the 10 points that is to be seen? That is there, according to Shastra. So that one can really select the right person. Okay, that's a different story. I'll tell you, let me take what I wrote, noted down in that paper. Maybe somewhere here. Well, that we'll discuss later. Now let us talk about, where is it? Yes, so Pathivatyam. Then she is telling that Pathivatyam. Pathivatyam is not to be executed by the Pati. Pathivatyam has to be executed by me. And what is Pathivatyam? My perception is absolutely clear. Why am I able to, why do I have this great opportunity of satsanga with greatest dharmam of the universe, who implies dharmam in everything in this universe is Dharmaraj like you. There is no one better than you. in order to have satsanga with you. The opportunity of having satsang with you and walking along with you, or behind you, or with you, have been achieved by me or have got to me only because of my pativrityam in my mind. And Yamadharma said, absolutely right. Others cannot follow me. It's not possible. To follow Yamadharma, it is not at all possible. It is pativritya. Because of your pativritya, that is, he's not talking anything about that. And then he was again pleased. Every time he pleases and gives one vara, then he thinks that, why did I do that? Ask for one more vara. My parents are blind. Nobody to look after them. It's only one son. What is the dharma? What is their mistake? To take care of them. Since you have asked me to ask for a vara, I am asking you. They should have 100 grandchildren. 100 grandchildren should have. Yamadharma was pleased with the knowledge of dharma. Tathastu. Hey Savitri, now you go back. Get married to somebody else. Have 100 children you will have. You will have grandchildren. Said that and again. Hey, then Yamaraj started telling, now don't come to me. Now path is totally difficult. The Bhumi Patha is finished. Now I am entering the Vayu Bhedam. I am entering into that area. You cannot come. She followed again. There was again a conversation. Hey Bhagwan. Again you are at the back of me. Yes. He said, Bhagwan, I have one more question to you. Please. My going back and marrying somebody else and having 100 children will not be their grandchildren. According to Dharma, somebody who doesn't have children, there is a saying in the Dharma that they will not get sadgati after the death. Their Atma will not have sadgati. So there should be. But that all I do not know. Whether they get sadgati, durgati, I don't know. I am going. You don't follow me. Hey Bhagwan, please allow me. Let me talk to you. Greatest satsang with you. I have to utilize this. Otherwise I will be at loss. I will never have this great opportunity to you. And she tells about it's a great chapter again. How the Janma, what is the Jivatma, how the Janma has been created, and how from the Janma another prani has to be created. If that is not happening, what are the implications that can disturb the environment? She says that you are Dharmaraj. Imagine that you are not giving him to me. I will go as a widow only. First of all, your Shapa, your Anugraha, Ashirvada will not materialize. Because I, being the Pativrata, I cannot marry another man, have children. Having done that also, will not have grandchildren for them who are there, who are asahaya, complete. But your Ashirvada was, they will have 100 grandchildren. She did not ask for her children. Their grandchildren she wanted. So that you will be violating your own Ashirvada that is being taken. And she says about the Prakriti and the Niyama and the environmental Shanti or Shantata is how disturbing it would be to lead. Let us discuss. I getting married again. Then said that, what are the disturbances that can take place? How the Jivatma and the vow of the Pativrityam and my qualities will get affected by that. And what are the papa I will be doing by that? Papa in the sense, that which is not supposed to be done by me in my janma is called papa. That's that papa. I am not supposed to, because I have got these qualities in me. I am supposed to be doing that, and things like that. She described. Listening to all that, it's a very big chapter. You can also, you must be knowing, many of you must have heard the story long back. You can go through it, it's worth reading. And then she convinces Bhagwan that bringing back him is absolutely necessary. So he said, okay. He said, I even cannot bring a dead body alive. It is not in dharma. I cannot displease you. Then he decided, okay, after listening to all that, he decided to release him. So, okay, for you, having done that, he releases him to be live. Okay, after about 4 hours or 5 hours, he will come back to life. You can carry him back. So she was carrying him. Then said that one more question was there. What is it? You said you will not violate dharma and bring back somebody who is dead into life. Why did you bring him to life? Why did you give him life? He said that you don't worry. As a Dharmaraja, I have got certain allowances. In some cases, I can bring is one. Forget about that. But then, what is the argument about the dharma? When a Jivatma is known that he will be established in this world for the purpose of dharma, I can give them the dana of prana. Normally what happens is that the man who dies, if he is given life again, he will be again doing adharma in the world. So I don't give. But in this case, since you will be there to guide him and take care of him, I am sure that he will follow the path of the dharma and establish dharma in the world. Therefore, technically, I am supposed to give him prana. So give him prana and take him back. Then she takes him back after 4, carries him at the back, goes back after 4 hours, he gets the consciousness. Then the story goes again. It's a big story again. Then when he wakes up, he asks, what has happened? I saw Yamaraj coming and taking me, but all in dream, and then things like that. He was still in that anesthetic effect. So then she said, okay, I will tell you all the story. Now let us go and rest in this vana for some time. He refuses to stay in the vana. Then there was a little argument with them, and then she was taking him and supporting him and taking him to his parents. He wanted to see his parents, so goes back. Now, then story continues a little more on that. What I am saying is that the prevalence of the consciousness in the psychic centers can also rule out death, is what I spoke. Just when I said that, I suddenly remembered having heard the Satyavan Savitri's. Her consciousness was prevalent in all her psychic centers, and the elements in the psychic centers in her was absolutely active without ego interfering, so that she could have satsang with Yamaraj, Yamadharma, in right conscious way. Her dharmam, her dharma palanam, or her jnanam on the shastras and Vedic shastra and Veda Vidya for dharma and for the purpose of life and living, having perfect, she could overrule the decision taken by Yamadharma being taken. When that man, the story tells that what is that? By being, what is the story? Forget about stories, many questions may be there. Okay, the story has been created or done, or was happened, we do not know. Meant for that you should have that prevalence of the consciousness in the psychic centers, so that the perception that you get and gain in you will be perfect. That will help you to execute your sancheta karma, prarabdha karma exactly in this janma. Forget about all other things. That consciousness will lead you towards the exact living, so that your mana, your sharira, your atma and everything will be perfect in condition, so that you will not have depletion of this status and energy as far as our present function is concerned, is what is the purpose of telling all these to you. You have to make your conscious prevalent, and dharma and ego under the guidance of the consciousness. Ego under the guidance of consciousness, so that it doesn't act by itself as an independent unit. Is the gist of all the stories, nothing other than that. All other things you can forget, doesn't matter. But this is the purpose why it is. For with that you can relate to anything. Each one is an individual. Each one has to function individually. Nobody can take over somebody's karma. No, not possible. I always tell this from the beginning, I think, from so many years of our classes I used to tell. I used to jokingly say in our Reiki classes that even though people say that you take, I will give you my prana. In love and compassion and all this. I will give you my prana. Who wants your prana? What will I do with your prana? Actually, when you look at it, what will I do with your prana? हम आपका प्राण दे देंगे. Because we know we will not be able to give, so we promise it very bluntly. Pran de denge. Instead of your prana, Yamaraj, let him take my prana. Everybody says that, no? Some people say that. Why not he take my prana and give you? The transfer of prana is not possible by Yamaraj. He says that no, this request, the password is not sufficient enough. No. Transparency is because both are no different transparencies. They function in two different planes, so this cannot be transferred into that. It's not possible. So nothing can be done. Each individual, in the sense, each and every molecule of Jivatma is functioning in order to fulfill its own prarabdha. During the process of functioning in the prarabdha, he became the human being, or his blessing of human being has been given to him, so that during the process of experiencing and experimenting and experiencing and exhausting his prarabdha karmas, along with that he acquires the absolute Dhyanam, so that the path towards the Brahman and layam to the Brahman has also to be understood. Is why this complicated system has been created in you, or a functional system of mind, intellect and thought and execution. All these things have been, all the faculties have been provided to you, not for just following what is happening around and in the sharira and the emotions. It's not meant for that. It's for a purpose totally different. These are there, along with that it's okay. The environments are there, others are there, other things are there, everything is happening. You as an individual have to be, that's why punya and papa comes there. That's what is called papa and punya. The sin that you will be doing, that you are behaving ignorantly without understanding the purpose of your life, is called papa or sin. It's a sin. What's a sin? I have given you all these facilities and not utilizing that facility is a sin. I'm doing a sin, not using them in the right manner. I am doing a sin. That's why it is known as sin. Papa karma is that you are not utilizing the consciousness. You are not making yourself understand that the importance of identifying and understanding the Brahma Tattva, Brahma Dhyanam, and execute your karmas based on that Brahma Tattva, Brahma Jnanam, is that what is expected by you is by giving you the mind, thought and intellect and things like that. But you instead have been ignorant about it and have associated with you to the emotions and egos and executing all your karmas based on emotions and egos, vikara, vichara and swartha bhava. Automatically when the swartha comes, all this goes away. This is the purpose of Jivatma A. Bhagavan has given you this facility and opportunity only for that. You have to emphasize every day that this is the purpose of my life. Do not get drowned by those environments and influences that attracts you towards the ego and vikara and vichara, emotion and attachment and attraction. No, I am not that. It's the Brahma Jnanam. It's the secrecy, secret Jnanam. Why it is secret? I told you why it is secret. Rahasya is that. Because it cannot be revealed by others. You have to reveal it to yourself. That's why it is rahasya. So do not get bogged down with that. Have this jnana. Have dependency. As I told about the dependency. Dependence means, again, the domination in the consciousness should be dependency to the Parabrahman. Beyond that, nothing is there. He is the one who is directing us. Jnana. Through Brahman, through Parabrahman. We have personified Ishvara. We have gurus, Sadgurus, transmitted as embodiment of Jnana. So, every time I go back, I start a new chapter. 40th sloka will take next time. I am not able to, here I would like to stop here for some time. You think about what I told you today, about that. So dependency of that is domination of consciousness. Dependency is not the weakness. Dependency in the Parabrahman is not a weakness. Dependency with the material, dependency in the Maya is the weakness. Many people say, oh, when you get attached to Ishvara and that kind of thing, you are what do you call it? Yes.
Slave.
Superstition or what do you call it? Superstition called? Andha-vishwasa. It is not Andha-vishwasa. Vishwasa will make you dridha in consciousness. Andha-vishwasa is that you do not, they say that Andha-vishwasa is something else. Who materialists say that you are depending on Brahman is Andha-vishwasa. But the Brahmajnani always says the other one is Andha-vishwasa. Andhata in Vishwasa is Andha-vishwasa. Vishwasa, I told you some time back that metal is Ganesha. Is it true? Logically it is not true. The metal is not that. Metal is not Ganesha. Ganesha is my perception in my mind. This is Vishwasa. That which is prevalent in the objective sense and then getting attached to it, that means materialistic way of living. Yes. Bhautika, bhutam. That which is bhuta, directed towards the bhuta, is bhautika. So towards attraction and attachment towards the bhautika is Andha-vishwasa. But the truth of that existence is the Vishwasa. Oh, Shanti. 14 things.